Yes, we are going back to the blackboard with our grammar terms review, also called parts of speech. So let's get started. Let's start with the adjective. An adjective is a description word or modifier that highlights the qualities or characteristics of a noun. They often answer the questions how many or what kind. One-word adjectives usually appear before the noun, so an adjective usually comes before the noun. I say usually because we will see an instance where it can appear after the noun that it modifies. Okay, here's some examples. 3 pages, blue folder, competent supervisor. 3 is the adjective there. How many pages? 3. What kind of folder? Blue. How is this supervisor? Or what kind of supervisor? Competent is the adjective in the last example here. So as you can see, the adjective comes before the noun, typically. Okay, adjectives can also appear after linking verbs. Now here's the exception I was telling you about. Let's look at this example. Mrs. Gotbucks is generous. Yes, okay. So where's the verb in this sentence? Is. Generous is an adjective, is it not? It does not appear before the noun. It does not say generous Mrs. Gotbucks. No. But in this case, the adjective that modifies the noun, Mrs. Gotbucks, actually appears after the linking verb is. Yes, let that marinate, but you'll get it. Here's another example. Your plan to save the universe sounds interesting. In this example, interesting is the adjective, and you can see that it appears last in the sentence. Now let's take a look at this sentence more closely. Let's break it down. Notice I've also underlined to save. To save is an infinitive that can actually be removed from the sentence. The core sentence is, your plan sounds interesting. The other words are there to give more detail, right? And to give an additional understanding. So in this sentence, plan is the subject, sounds is the verb, to save is an infinitive, but to save the universe is an entire prepositional phrase. Remember, prepositional phrases are not truly necessary to the sentence. In most cases, you can delete it and the sentence will sound just fine, as in this case. Yes, I told you we were going to have so much fun and give you some really great information. Okay, let's go to the adverb. It describes or modifies verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. One-word adverbs usually end in ly, such as slowly, for example. Adverbs often answer the questions how much, how often, or to what degree. Let's look at these examples. Typed quickly. Quickly is the adverb. Walked slowly. She speaks well, right? Well is an adverb here. How does she speak? Well. Bob dresses casually. How does Bob dress? Casually. So you can see how the adverbs answer those questions here. Adverbs can also modify other adjectives or other adverbs, and here are some examples in which this happens. A really cool day. Really is the adverb. Cool is the adjective. A slightly crooked nose. Slightly is the adverb. Crooked is the adjective. Sylvia talks very loudly. Very is an adverb, and loudly is an adverb. So adjectives and adverbs give additional detail to a sentence. They also provide visual images for the reader that they can really see and get a rich experience from your writing or from your prose when you use adverbs and adjectives effectively. Antecedent, a noun that is referred to by a pronoun. Okay, let's break that down. The word or phrase that the pronoun replaces is called the antecedent. For example, Teresa paid her dorm fee yesterday. Her is the pronoun that refers to Teresa, right? So Teresa is the antecedent. The football players experienced their first win today. There is the pronoun that refers to football players. Football players is the antecedent because it is the phrase that the pronoun refers back to. Do you want a large cone or a small one? Why did we use pronouns? Because you don't want to say, do you want a large cone or a small cone? You could, but that gets repetitive. So you use pronouns to refer to the thing you're talking about. Do you want a large cone or a small one? One is the pronoun that refers back to cone, so cone is the antecedent. All right, let's take a look at the good old article. There are only three articles, a, and the. Articles are not prepositions, all right? So make sure that's clear. The is a definite article that indicates specific items. A and an are called indefinite articles. That's just a fun fact for you. You want to be able to recognize them, but don't get bogged down by the technical terms there. When do you use a or an? You use a when the word it precedes starts with a consonant sound, such as a book, a car, a flute. All of those nouns begin with consonant sounds. Use an when the word it precedes starts with a vowel sound. For example, an apple, an ancient city, an umpire, an igloo. I keep emphasizing sound because it's the sound, not necessarily the letter, that determines whether you use a or an. For example, an RCA television. R is a consonant, right? But it does not take an A. You would not say a RCA television. You say an RCA television. So it is the sound that drives whether or not to use a or an. Okay, a clause is a group of related words that contain a subject and a verb. You have two kinds. The first kind is an independent clause, which is simply a complete sentence. It has a subject, verb, object. Complete sentence is called an independent clause. A dependent clause does not express a complete thought. For example, the cable company does not provide service in rural areas. That is a complete sentence, which is also called an independent clause. Here's a dependent clause. If you complete this survey, it has a subject, you. It has a verb, complete. It has a direct object, survey, but it does not express a complete thought. It is a dependent clause because it is depending on something else to come after it so that the sentence is completed and makes sense. A conjunction, very simply, is a connecting word. A conjunction joins two or more words or phrases such as Jack and Jill, joins two complete sentences, links one part of a sentence to another. For example, it can link an independent clause with a dependent clause. Here are some common conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Fanboys. Yes, that's usually how most people remember the most common conjunctions. An interjection is a word or phrase that expresses strong feeling or sudden emotion. An interjection is not grammatically related to the sentence, and for this reason, some argue that it is not a true part of speech, but we always include them in discussions of parts of speech. That's just a little fun fact for you. You know, you can throw out at dinner parties, if you will. All right, here's some examples. Ouch! I stubbed my toe. Oh, the water is too cold. Damn, my tire is flat again. You get all of that strong feeling or sudden emotion? Yes, good old interjections. Fine, I'll do it myself. Let's move on to modifiers. A modifier is a word, clause, or phrase, meaning one word or a group of words, that describes or highlights the qualities of other words or parts of a sentence. Adjectives and adverbs are examples of modifiers. Let's look at some examples. The handsome, sophisticated professor walked quickly into the cold, dimly lit conference room. Handsome, sophisticated are adjectives that all refer to the professor. Quickly refers to walked. How quickly, or how did he walk quickly? Cold and dimly lit refer to the conference room, but it gives you a description of the professor, of the conference room. And so in this case, adjectives and adverbs are examples of modifiers or words or groups of words that highlight the qualities of other words or parts of a sentence.